We will start the session now. So I welcome you all to the Professional Education Services. We already have a previous introduction session of the GATE 2021 Mechanical Interactive course. This is a demo for all the subjects. Today we will be taking the demo of 2 subjects, and tomorrow we will be taking out other 2 subjects. So coming to the course, you can see now on the screen, like we are providing an interactive GATE Mechanical Engineering course, 350 hours at 15,000. For first 25 members, we are offering 12,000. Only I think only 10 seats are left. So please, if you are interested, please do register. Soon classes are yet to will be begin from 15th August. So you can see on the screen and contact us for the admissions. Any of the numbers shown on the screen: 790-1599-417-14 or 18-10. So coming to the professional education services, I think we have previously discussed about this. Professional education services is an ISO 9001/2015 certified institute and Government of Telangana registered institute, which is established by under the guidance of the senior faculty of Usmania University, Hyderabad. So we have a 4 years experience in teaching and guiding students, and since 2016, PE has provided tutoring services and training services for more than 10,000 plus students. We mainly our key feedback focus administration. So presently we offer home tuitions, classroom tutorials, online tutorials, CAD trainings, mechanical testing services and project training, and GATE coaching all over the India in only online. We are also planning offline post COVID-19. So coming, you can see on the screen 6 wings, that is home tutorials, tutorial points, GATE Academy, ProCAD Academy trainings and projects, and online tutorials. Next, now we will discuss some of the highlights and key features which are the changes made in the GATE 2021 course. So GATE, unlike the previous GATE exams, in this coming 2021 examination, the dates are in the spread of a wide duration, like it is from February 5th to 14th February. Because of the COVID-19, the days are expected to change. So another thing is there is addition of 2 new projects, subjects, that is environmental science and engineering, and next paper is humanities and social sciences. These 2 papers are added to the current subjects, which makes the total subject papers to 27. And one more main highlight is that all the syllabus of all the subject papers have been changed. There is a there is a change in every subject, so please go through that before starting your preparation. Please check for the changes in the syllabus and then go ahead. And also there is a major change that from this year we will also have a multiple select questions where the correct options can be 2 or 3 or 4, anything. So you will only get marks if you select all the correct answers. This is a major change in this GATE 2021, and also same multiple choice questions and numerical answer type questions are being given. Other thing is, we already discussed 1 or 2 subject papers allowed. From this year, 2 papers are allowed. The combination is specified in the notification. You can go to the brochure and check for all. Next, from this year, the eligibility criteria is relaxed. A candidate who is currently studying in the 3rd year of or higher years of any undergraduate degree, can take the exam. This means that all the 3rd year students who are coming to the 3rd year students can attempt GATE this year. From this year, it was till 2010 it was allowed, but after 2010 it was changed, and now again it was implemented to make the 3rd year students to attend the exam. And other changes, only this year application will be accepted online, and that through only Go Apps portal. So you already know that GATE score is valid for 3 years from the date of announcement of the result. So depending on COVID-19 situation, schedule of GATE 2021 examination may change. So that depends what the condition of the COVID-19 at the time of January and February. So thank you. Today we will proceed with the two demos. First demo will be the mathematics and second demo will be the fluid and thermal subjects. So Hafiz, please carry on from here.
Thank you, Madhu sir. Am I audible, sir?
Voice clear, Hafiz. Please go ahead.
Hello, can anyone confirm? Am I audible? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you are audible, Hafiz.
Engineering mathematics. Yeah, okay. Engineering mathematics. I will be taking the subject of engineering mathematics as I explained the various aspects of engineering mathematics in our introduction class. Today we have demo. I will take one or two key topics from one chapter, and then we will try to solve the problems and we'll try to get the concept behind the problems. Next slide. Okay, the next slide. Chapters. As you know, like we have mainly 7 chapters here: linear algebra, differential calculus, probability and statistics, differential equations, complex variables, vector calculus, and numerical methods. By observing the previous papers by IIT Mumbai, which is conducting GATE 2021, so we have analyzed the papers. Then we got that linear algebra, differential calculus, and probability and statistics have been given like major marks in mathematics. And one of the silent feature of mathematics is that by solving the problems of engineering mathematics, we can score good marks with the limited subjects, with limited subjects, with limited chapters. When compared to other subjects, we have n number of chapters and wide syllabus will be there. And with the wide syllabus, we'll get less marks when compared to engineering mathematics. Engineering mathematics carries 13 marks to 15 marks with the limited subjects. You know, like if you focus on this engineering mathematics, then you can easily get good marks, not only in mathematics, but it will also lead you to get good marks and good rank in GATE exam. So I will be like encouraging you to study mathematics and take it very seriously. If you study well, then easily we can score the marks with the limited subject engineering mathematics. And all the subjects and all the chapters and all the topics, but we should be going strategically, like giving the importance to the highest carrying marks chapters, and giving importance to the important chapters, and like that we have to go strategically in GATE mathematics and as well as in other subjects. When coming to I will be explaining you about the differential equation and one or two concepts from the differential equation. Differential equations have many concepts, but in that mainly 3 key concepts are there. If we focus on this, majorly the problems are coming from these 3 concepts only. We have first order linear differential equation. Like there are various methods to solve this first order linear differential equation, which includes homogeneous equation as well as non-homogeneous equation, which includes I will be explaining variable separable method and also linear differential equation method. So various methods will be there. First order linear differential equation. Second key concept will be higher order linear differential equation. Higher order differential equation with constant coefficients. Like order will be more than 1. If we have order more than 1, then it will be called as higher order linear differential equation. With constant coefficients, it will be having constant coefficient, and it is very important topic in differential equation. Majorly questions asked from this concept only. And in that higher order linear differential equation, they are also providing the values like initial and boundary value. They will be providing y of 0, y of 1, something like that, and they will be asking the other value. We'll solve that kind of problem now. Next slide. Hello, sir. Next slide. Okay, first order linear differential equation. As I told, there are three key concepts here in differential equation. In that first order linear differential equation, we have mainly two methods. First one is variable separable method, and second one will be a linear equation. In that variable separable method, by seeing the problem only, like we can say, can it be solved by variable separable method or not? If we are easily able to differentiate the dx term with f of x and g of y terms with the d of y, we can, if we are able to divide those terms, then we can easily integrate, and then we can solve the by using variable separable method. This is very easiest form for solving the first order linear differential equation. Second and the very famous one is general form. By using dy by dx plus py is equal to q. It is a linear equation in y. We will be also having some problems like linear equation in x. Then it will be reverse. Dx by dy plus px is equal to q. So it will be reverse. If we memorize this thing, and if we are able to solve by using this formula, then we can easily reverse by using the other formula as well. So dy by dx plus py is equal to q. In this, p and q are the functions of x. How to solve this kind of problems? General solution will be, we need to remember this formula. Y of integral factor if is equal to q into integral factor dx plus c. This will be the general solution. First, we have to convert the problem into the general form. Dy by dx plus py is equal to q, and then we'll be giving the solution as y into integral if is equal to q integral factor dx plus c. What is integral factor? Integral factor is e integration p dx. We will be taking one example, and we'll be solving the problem. Then you can easily get the concept. As I previously suggested, that we should have a separate CDF book, separate notes. Like you should make a separate note, concept, definition, and formula, which will include all the formulas, which will include all the concepts at one book. If you are easily able to gather those formulas, then we can easily remember the formulas, and we can accordingly solve the problems. So we'll take examples in next slide, and we'll try to solve the problem by taking the previous year GATE problem. Okay, sir, next slide. Okay, this is GATE 2019 problem of mechanical. Dy by dx plus 7x square y is equal to 0. It has given. And he has also given y of 0 is equal to 3 by 7 and y of 1 is equal to what? This question mark has been given. Options are also given. So what we need to do now? Given equation is dy by dx plus 7x square y is equal to 0. This is the given equation. By seeing the equation only, we can easily say that it is dy by dx only degree is 1. So it is linear differential equation of first order. It is not higher order linear because it's dy by dx only. It is not d square y by. So it's easily first order linear differential equation. And we can easily compare with the general form dy by dx plus py is equal to q. By comparing that, p is equal to, as we say, 7x square and q is equal to 0. By comparing these two, we can easily say that p is equal to 7 square and q is equal to 0. So what is integral factor? Integral factor will be e integration p dx, e integration p 7x square. So we'll substitute here 7x square dx, and e is equal to, as we know, x square differentiation will be integration of x square will be x cube by 3. So e 7x cube by 3. So we got integral factor. So what we'll do, we'll substitute in the solution. What is solution? Y integral factor is equal to q dx plus c. As q is 0, substitute 0, and y, what is integral factor? E 7x cube by 3. So y e 7x cube by 3 is equal to 0 plus c. So this is the solution we got. But he is not asking the solution. He is asking that what will be the value of y of 1 when y of 0 has been given. What is y of 0? 3 by 7. So y of 0 is 3 by 7. That means x is equal to 0, y is equal to 3 by 7. So substitute x is equal to 0, y is equal to 3 by 7 in the solution. So by by substituting that x is equal to 0, that's e power 0 is equal to 1. So we will directly get c is equal to 3 by 7. When c is equal to 3 by 7, then equation will become by substituting 3 by 7 we'll get y 3 by 7 by sending this e exponential term to the right side, we'll get e minus 7x cubed by 3. So this is the final equation and final solution we got. But he's asking y of 1, so we'll substitute x is equal to 1 and we'll find what is y value. So by substituting x is equal to 1, we got 3 by 7 e power minus 7 by 3. So this is the solution. So it is very easy problem. If you just remember the formula, we can easily able to solve, provided that we should remember the basic formulas of integration and differentiation. So this is very recent question. You can easily solve the problems of mathematics as I told, provided that we should remember the formulas and definitions. Next concept of differential equation will go in next slide. Next slide. Next slide, sir. Yeah, I got it. Higher order linear differential equation. What is this general solution of higher order linear differential? As I told you, this is the first order as dy by dx has been given. In the next slide, sir. In the next slide, we will be having multiple formulas. And it is required that we should find by CF plus PI. General solution is CF plus PI. What is CF? CF is complementary function. It will be visible if you just zoom it. That this is by finding the complementary function and particular integral, we will able to get the general solution. For the complementary function, if one root is given, this is directly the solution is C1 e power m1x. I hope you have studied this in engineering semesters. This is very easy solutions. And if two distinct roots are given, then the formulas will be C1 e power m1x plus C2 e power m2x. And if the two equal roots have been given, then C plus C2x bracket e m power x. So this is the basic formula. And if complex conjugates roots are given, then we can use other formulas. And coming to particular integral is needed when we have right side of the equation. When right side other than 0, if any terms are coming, then we need to find particular integral. In particular integral, we mainly have exponential function, algebraic function, and trigonometric equation. If you just see, if we have exponential function, the rule 1 says that we should substitute f of d is equal to f of a. This rule will be applied when we have exponential function. If we coming to rule 2, then if we have algebraic, then we need to substitute d square is equal to d minus a square. Then we'll able to solve the problem. If we have algebraic, then we need to solve by using binomial theorem. So this is main 3 important rules. If very difficult problem is given, then they will combine exponential and trigonometric or exponential algebraic also. So we'll take one example from previous GATE exam, and we'll try to solve the problem of higher order linear differential equation. I hope you are getting the difference between higher order linear differential equation and first order. In first order will be 1, dy by dx will be there. In higher order, what will be there? D square y by dx square will be there. dq y by dx cube will be there. That means order and order of the differential equation will be more than 1. So that will be called as higher order linear differential equation. And it will also be having constant coefficients. We'll take one example, sir. Next slide, please. So by taking the example, and we can easily get what it's saying. So it is GATE 2015 problem, which I will be explaining to you. By this, I will try to end the demo class. This is very easy. We can easily solve this kind of problems also. So higher order linear differential equation, what does it say? D square y by dx square plus 2 dy by dx plus y is equal to 0. So in this equation also, as by seeing only we can say that this higher order. So we will not go to the formula of linear differential equation of first order. We'll go CF plus PI. So we need to find CF, we need to find PI. So it has also given the formulas of y of 0, y dash of 0, and it has given then solution in the option. So first what we'll do, we'll take the equation. Given equation is d square plus 2d plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, then it will be equal to d plus 1 whole square is equal to 0. And as we know that the formula of d plus 1 a plus b whole square, a square plus 2ab plus b square, and then we'll get the two equal roots as d is equal to minus 1 comma minus 1. So this will be the roots. As I previously explained that it will be the different formulas for the different roots. It is the two equal roots. So it is two equal roots. Two equal roots means the formula will be e power ax c1 plus c2x. So what is the e power ax? A means root. Root is minus 1. So e power minus 1x c1 plus c2x. So this is the solution we got. I was also saying that we also have particular integral, but this PI will not exist here because right side of the equation it is 0. It is neither exponential nor algebraic, and also it is not containing any trigonometric function. So particular integral will be 0. So no need to consider that. And we'll directly say the solution as y is equal to e power minus x c1 plus c2x. Okay. Then it is also given y of 0 is equal to 1. So we'll take that with the help of y of 0 is equal to 1. Y is equal to 1, x is equal to 0. We substitute that. Y is equal to 1, x is equal to 0 means e power 0, 1, c1 plus c2. c1 plus c2 into 0. So that will also become 0. c1 is equal to 1. So y dash is equal to, we'll differentiate this equation, this solution. Y dash is equal to, we'll multiply this inside c1 e power minus x. This will be minus c1 e power minus x because e power x we know differentiation is minus e power minus x, plus it will multiply c2 x e power minus x. Then we'll get by using the uv formula u v dash plus v u dash. So we'll get this thing e power minus x e power minus x. So what we'll do, we substitute the value of y dash. Y dash is also 1 and x is equal to 0. By substituting that e power 0 is 1 and this will also become 0 and this is c2. So y1 is equal to minus c1 plus c2. y1 is equal to minus c1 plus c2. We know c1 value. Here left side c1 is equal to 1. Substitute that c1 is equal to 1 and c2 becomes 2. And we substitute that cf is equal to in the equation left hand side c1 c2 values, c1 is 1 and c2 is 2. We'll substitute that, and by substituting that we'll get the second option as our answer, e power minus x 1 plus 2x. This is how we solve higher order linear differential equation. This is the method of solving higher order linear differential. Very easy. CF plus PI will be there. By finding the root, we'll easily able to get the solution. By giving the boundary values, it will be very easy to get C1 and C2 values also. So I hope you will be joining us in these classes. I will be explaining in detail the other concepts of higher order linear differential equation as well as other concepts of mathematics. Thank you, Madhu sir.
Yeah, hello, Hafiz. You have done?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah, you are completed?
Yes, sir. Yeah, completed.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Aditya, now invite.
Hello.
Yeah, Aditya, please take one thought here. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So can you move on to the next slide? Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aditya. I'll be taking classes on fluid mechanics and thermal sciences. First of all, I I wish you all good health. Now, first, so today we'll be discussing the first law of thermodynamics. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yeah, voice clear, Aditya, you can proceed.
Yeah. So we'll be discussing the first law of thermodynamics today. So in the previous lecture, which covered the introduction, I explained the syllabus. So there, at the end of this lecture, I'll also be explaining the changes that have been taking place in the thermal section of GATE mechanical syllabus. Can we move to the next slide, please? So the first law of thermodynamics, there are three parts. First is a cyclic process. Now, what is a cycle? When a system goes from a particular initial state I and it goes to a state F, final state. Now, when it comes back from the final state to the initial state, this whole thing is called a cycle, which means the initial and final states of the system are one and the same. Now, when we do that, can you move to the previous slide? Yeah, when we have a cyclic process, the total heat supplied is equal to the total work done. What does it mean? That the amount of energy that is supplied in the form of heat is equal to the amount of work done by the system, which means that the system does not consume anything for itself. There is no change in internal energy of the system. This is only possible if you look at the slide. Q12, that is the process from I to F or state point 1 to state point 2. Q12 is equal to W12, which means that the internal energy does not change, and therefore the temperature T2, that is the initial and final temperatures, are constant. So basically, if you are taking a cyclic process, you are basically looking at an isothermal process. So when we come to the first law of thermodynamics, we have a sign convention system. We take positive sign when heat is supplied, that is we supply heat, that is through a gas burner, and the amount of heat that we supply is used by the system in doing work. Therefore, I supply heat and work is done by the system. The expansion process is basically a positive sign convention in thermodynamics. If you can look at the diagram here, Q is plus when we are supplying it externally and system is expanding. Now, negative sign convention is used when work is done on the system, that is we push the system, that is we exert force and do work, and then this causes the system to reject heat, that is compression process. So this is a sign convention that we use. Can we move to the next slide? Madhu, can we move to the next slide? Hello, next slide.
Yeah, Aditya, transferring.
Yeah. So now we are going to take a closed system, that is where there is a system boundary and mass does not transfer. That means the amount of substance, if we are having 1 kg of substance, initially, after the process is completed, you will again have only 1 kg. 1 kg of the system does not move from external to the boundary. So only energy is transferred. Now, when only energy is transferred and mass is not being moved, then we consider it as a constant volume process, as the system volume remains constant. Mass volume remains constant. So for that we write the first law of thermodynamics as Q12 is equal to U2 minus U1, that is change in internal energy, because some of the heat that you supply is used by the system in gaining some energy in order to do work, and that energy is used to do work. So here we have the same piston cylinder system, and when you do a piston cylinder system analysis, you have Q12 is equal to mCV, where we have CV is specific heat at constant volume into T2 minus T1, that is change between initial and final temperatures, plus PdV, that is called displacement work. So for a piston cylinder, when we ask work done, we are basically calculating PdV work. Now, this is the first law of thermodynamics for a closed system or non-flow process. Now, some of the key thermodynamic relations we have are Cp minus Cv is equal to R, Cp by Cv is equal to gamma, and Cp and Cv are related in such manner. Now, these are for perfect gases or ideal gases, and therefore we consider for GATE exam, we consider this fixed. Now, when you are taking the working fluid or the system as air, these values are constants. The Cp is 1005 joule per kg Kelvin, Cv and R are given, the molar mass is given. First thing when we do all thermal problems is that we have to take the temperatures in Kelvin scale. And therefore, if you are being given a centigrade scale value, you have to convert it immediately using C plus 273 is equal to K. That is, you have to convert it into Kelvin by adding 273 to it. So this is a very important point that we must note. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now we have an open system. The first law of thermodynamics for open system. What is an open system? It is a system where you have a system boundary and a control volume. However, from the system loses there is mass transfer as well as energy transfer. So that is why we have at the inlet we have condition 1 and the outlet we have condition 2. So if m dot were the mass flow rate of the system, H1 were the initial enthalpy, C1 were the inlet velocity, Z1 that is the height, ground potential energy of the system, plus Q12 that is if heat were supplied to the system, okay, on the inlet side. And on the outlet side you have the same thing with suffix 2, but as the mass, when the mass of fluid or mass of substance exits the system, then you will have work being done by the system. So this work is called W12. Okay, so m dot into H2, that is enthalpy, plus kinetic energy C2 square by 2 plus G into Z2, that is the potential energy, and work. Now, if we neglect the changes in potential and kinetic energies, we can eliminate C1, C2, Z1 and Z2. Then we will have Q12 is equal to capital H2 minus capital H1 plus W12. So the first equation, m dot into H1 and so on, is called the steady flow energy equation. The second one is called the first law for open systems. Okay, now if we are doing displacement calculations in first law for open systems, then Q12 can be calculated as mCp. Cp is specific heat at constant pressure. Why are we calculating using specific heat at constant pressure? It is because the volume is changing. However, in the given assumptions, we assume that the pressure is not changing significantly. Therefore, the pressure is fairly constant, and therefore we use Cp as.
Your voice is a little distant.
Oh, I'm sorry. There is Cp, that is specific heat at constant pressure, and the work is done as a change of pressure difference. That is, whatever little pressure difference is causing the work to happen, that pressure difference is calculated in work. That work is minus VdP. Okay. Now, generally, whatever we see in nature, whatever we see around us are steady flow processes, and at atmospheric sea level. So some of the steady flow devices that we have are turbines, compressors, pumps, fans, nozzles and diffusers. And even piping systems, pipeline networks also employ steady flow energy equation, but in the form of Bernoulli equation. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah, so we'll be taking a couple of problems involving the first law of thermodynamics. So the first one has been taken from GATE 2017. You can see a calorifically perfect gas enters and leaves a gas turbine with the same velocity. The temperatures of the gas at entry and exit are given. The power produced is 4.6 megawatt and heat escapes. When we say heat escapes, we are meaning that the heat is lost by the turbine, by the system. Escape, lost, goes out, all mean heat is being lost by the system at the rate of 300 kilojoule per second. The mass flow rate is being asked in the question, and you have four options. So now first we write down the given data. What we have: inlet temperature is given 1100 Kelvin. Outlet temperature is given 400 Kelvin. We are asked that the velocity is constant, therefore C1 is equal to C2. So we can make an assumption that the gas flows horizontally so that there is no change in potential energy. Z1 is equal to Z2. We can make a safe assumption here. Now, based on this given data, we draw the system schematic diagram. So you have a turbine here, you have the control volume and control surface. T1, fluid is entering with temperature T1, exiting with temperature T2. We are told that work is being produced, which means the turbine is connected to an electrical shaft which is producing the power. So that power produces W dot 4.6 megawatt. So 4,600 kilowatts, because 1 megawatt is 1,000 kilowatts. Heat is being lost, is being told to us. So when heat is lost, we use negative sign. Minus 300 kilojoule per second or minus 300 kilowatt. So this is what we are given, and this is the turbine schematic. Now what we do is we apply something called a steady flow energy equation. Why steady flow energy equation? Because velocity is fairly constant. We are told that the pressure is also nearly constant. And we know a turbine is a steady flow energy device. Now, we also assume that the flow is one-dimensional, steady flow, incompressible, which means density does not change with respect to time. Can we move to the next slide? Hello, Madhu, can we move to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So applying the steady flow energy equation, we have m dot into h1 plus c1 square by 2 plus gz1 plus q12 is equal to m dot h2 plus c2 square by 2 plus gz2 plus w12. We know that c1 is equal to c2, z1 is equal to z2. We cancel them out. Then we have m dot into h1, the initial enthalpy. Q12 I am writing it as Q dot is equal to m dot into h2 plus W12 I am writing it as W dot. Now what we need is mass flow rate. So we take all the mass terms to one side and everything else to the other. So m dot into h1 minus h2 is equal to W dot minus Q dot. Now H is equal to Cp into T. That is specific enthalpy can be written as Cp into T. So the above equation can now be expanded as m dot into Cp into T1 minus T2 is equal to W dot minus Q dot. Now m dot Cp is 1 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Multiplied that by T1 1100 Kelvin, T2 400 Kelvin, W dot 4600 minus Q dot is minus 300 because we are losing heat. When we are losing heat, we should always assign the minus sign to the value. So 1100 minus 4, 700. We will cancel Kelvin. 700 m dot is equal to 4,900. And therefore m dot will be 4,900 kilojoule per second by 700 kilojoule per kg. That is 7 kg per second. That is the second option, option B. Okay, this is how we find out the mass flow rate of the gas through the turbine. Can we move to the next slide? Right. So now we have something called as a gas heating system. A gas is heated in a duct as it flows over a resistance heater. Consider a 101 kilowatt electric heating system. The gas enters the heating section at 100 kilopascal and 27 degrees C with a volume flow rate of 15 cubic meters per second. If heat is lost from the gas in the duct to the surroundings at the rate of 51 kilowatt, the exit temperature of the gas is. He has given Cp and R values. So if you look, you are taking the values in centigrade scale. The answer has been asked to be taken in centigrade scale. So whatever answer you get in Kelvin, you have to convert it to centigrade scale in this question. So first we write down the given data. Now we have volume flow rate 15 cubic meters per second. We have gas pressure 100 kilopascal. It is given constant pressure in the question. So P is equal to 100 kPa constant. The initial temperature is 27 degrees centigrade, that is 300 Kelvin. Now we are now being told that heat is lost from the gas. So if you look here in the problem schematic, you will find the gas is entering with V dot, that is volume flow rate, and temperature T1. There is an electric system heating and gas is going out. As the gas is getting heated by the electric heater, it is also losing heat. So we want to find out the gas temperature at the point where T2 is marked. Okay. So Cp and R are given. This is the schematic of the problem. Can we move to the next slide? Right. And finally, we have the electric heater capacity minus 101 kilowatt. And why am I taking this? Why am I writing minus 101 kilowatt directly? Look at it. When we are taking electric heating, we are making the electrons do the work, which means the electron is being pushed to move in the wire. Therefore, work is being done on the electron. When work is being done on the electron gets energy. This energy makes the heater hot. Electric heater becomes hot. And this heat is being rejected to the gas, because of which the gas is heating up. Okay, that is why we take electric heater capacity as minus 101 kilowatts. Generally, when the problem in gate comes as electric heater or electrical work, it is always assigned a negative sign. Okay. Similar to the previous question, we have one-dimensional steady flow incompressible process. We neglect the changes in PE and KE. Okay. First, we calculate mass flow rate using ideal gas equation. Can we move to the previous slide once? Yeah. So assume constant pressure, ideal gas, negligible changes in kinetic and potential energies. So we don't need to calculate gas velocity or gas height. Okay, and we have ideal gas, so we can use ideal gas equation. Next slide, please. Right. So the ideal gas equation is P into V dot is equal to M dot R T1. That is the initial temperature. Now M dot is equal to P dot V by R T1. P is 100 kilopascal. When we write kilopascal, 10 cube. 1 Pascal is Newton per meter square. 1 Newton per meter square or 1 Newton is 1 kg meter per second square. Okay. So when you do all of that, and we have to reduce it to this much form, and 15 meter cube per second. Now R is 500 joule per kg Kelvin. Joule per kg can also be written as meter square per second square. Meter square per second square into Kelvin. T1 is 300 Kelvin. When you do all the manipulations, you get the mass flow rate as 10 kg per second. Okay. Now we apply the first law of thermodynamics for a flow process. Q dot is equal to H2 minus H1 plus W. We need H2 and H1 are the only terms that contain temperature, and we need temperature only. So we move everything else to the other side. When we'll have m dot Cp, H is mCp dt. M dot Cp into T2 minus T1 is equal to Q minus W. When you do the manipulation, 10 kg per second M, 1 kilojoule per kg Kelvin Cp, T2 is unknown, T1 is known 300 Kelvin, is equal to Q is minus 51 because heat is lost, minus 101 kilojoule per second, that is electric heater capacity. So when you do the manipulation, you get 10 into T2 minus 300 is 50. T2 minus 300 is 5 Kelvin, then T2 is 305 Kelvin. But the question, if you go to the previous slide once, can we move to the previous slide? Yeah, the answer is asked in degree centigrade. So you have to convert your Kelvin scale value to centigrade scale value. Next slide once, please. So converts Kelvin to centigrade by subtracting 273. 305 Kelvin can be written as 32 degrees centigrade. Therefore, the exit temperature of the gas through the duct is 32 degrees centigrade, which is option A. So we'll now discuss what changes are there in the GATE 2021 paper for fluid mechanics and thermal sciences. Next slide, Madhukar. Yeah. So firstly, manometry, that is pressure measurement, manometers and all have been removed. First thing. Next, buoyancy is not mentioned in the question in the syllabus copy, but it may be included in the section on stability of floating bodies, because buoyancy and stability of floating bodies are interrelated. Next, a new section on basics of compressible flow has been added. What are the possible things? Compressible flow means gas dynamics and all come into the picture. So these are some of the possible topics that can come. Mach number, concept of Mach number, Mach cone and Mach angle. And you'll have zones of action and silence. Then you have isentropic flow. You'll have some discussion on stagnation properties and thermodynamic property relations. And finally, we'll have the Prandtl velocity ellipse. These are the basics that will come in isentropic flow. Next, we have nozzles and diffusers. In nozzles and diffusers, there will be three things. Effect of area variation, that is how does the change in area affect the performance of a nozzle. Then we'll have subsonic and supersonic nozzles and diffusers, and we'll discuss the off-design operation of a nozzle. This will be the three things. Then we will have normal and oblique shocks. Property relations will be asked for both. We'll be discussing what is a shock and what are the thermodynamic property relations. Then we'll have Prandtl-Meyer and Rankine-Hugoniot equations. So these are the possible topics that will come from compressible fluid flow. Next, we'll have a new section on steam and gas turbines has been added. Initially, for turbo machinery, you used to only have hydraulic turbines, that is Pelton wheel, Francis and Kaplan turbines. But now we have steam and gas turbines also. So we'll look at what sections can come. In steam turbines, we'll have impulse and reaction principle for steam turbines. We'll have compounding. Why do we need compounding? What are the types of compounding and other related topics. Then we'll have a comparison between steam turbines and gas turbines. When coming to steam nozzles, we'll have condition for maximum mass flow rate and critical pressure ratio in steam nozzles. Some concepts of steam nozzles can also be dealt with isentropic flow and nozzles and diffusers. So there is some commonality in between the new concepts that are being added. Now this is concerning steam turbines. In gas turbines, we'll have performance curves may be asked because a separate section has been added. Performance curves may also be asked. We also have multiple select questions, that is multiple correct answers are there. So it is possible that multiple correct choice answers can come from these topics also. So that is what we have to look into. Intercooling, reheat and regenerative gas turbines has to be read thoroughly. We have open and closed gas turbine systems. Now, like I said, in turbo machinery, we used to only have hydraulic turbines. So now we have axial and centrifugal compressors. We also have axial turbines. So in gas turbines, all these also come up. So for them, we'll be dealing with velocity triangles, work done and efficiency equations, thermodynamic coefficients, that is work coefficient, speed coefficient, power coefficient, and finally degree of reaction concept. So these are the possible addition, these are the compulsory things that may feature in the GATE 21 paper, and I'll be taking all of them. I hold a master's degree in turbo machinery, which means these things I have dealt with as my subject matter. So nothing to worry, these are all very basic things, and the questions will be fairly simple because they are being introduced for the first time this year. So we have to be very clear with our concepts. So that is what we can expect from GATE 21 Fluid Mechanics and Thermal Sciences. Thank you for your patience. Stay safe, and I now hand over to Madhukar.
Yeah, thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Aditya and Hafiz. Yeah, so it was a very great demo session. Aditya, can you please make your mic mute? Yeah, it was a great session. So thank you everyone for joining us, and also the other two subjects, design and production manufacturing, will be provided a demo on the next week of the maximum Wednesday or Thursday. The date will be fixed and shared to you all. So if you have any doubt from the audience, you can ask me now regarding the course or structure, anything, GATE. If you have any doubts also, you can get to me now and ask. I will be waiting for your queries, both in all the streams like Facebook and Google Meet and YouTube. Anyone, your comments will be highlighted here. Yeah, thank you. I hope no doubts, we are very clear. So coming to the course, you can see we are offering the course at 15,000. Entire course, we will be taking classes up to the exam. That is last day of the exam also, we will be supporting you. Okay. So please, if you need admission or any more details, please contact our numbers 790-1599-417/R14/10/18, any number. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us. It was a great day.